What are the common traits which contributed you to becoming one of the top students?
You have to love this field, otherwise it's quite taxing, right? My sleep is of no importance, the patient's life is of the most importance.
How many hours you were studying doctor during those days?
People may not believe much, but I was not a very in the sense traditionally hardworking student.
Surrounding, and right now even there was a case in Calcutta, there was a big problem which happened.
No, I think it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing.
So many people are addicted to smoking, alcohol.
Smoking definitely bad. When we have youngsters with heart attack, almost always 90% of them are smokers.
Please subscribe to the channel. It will not cost you anything if you haven't. Subscriber count is one of the most important factors for me so that I can bring great and bigger guests so that you are able to absolutely learn best knowledge so that you can live for 100 to 150 years. And if you find value in our work, all I ask you is hit the subscribe button right now. In return, I promise you I'm going to bring the world's best top 1% guests from India, USA, and around the world, ensuring the maximum and super quality value. And now enjoy the podcast. Thank you so much. Welcome to Real Knowledge Club Longevity Summit. Today we have one of the truly fascinating guests, thought leaders, India's one of the top 0.01% cardiologists, and he is one of the doctors who actually helped my dad also while he had a heart attack. Basically, he did the angiogram and everything. We were able to save him, right? And his expertise is next level. And he is the head of the department of cardiology in Manipal Hospital. And he was also the topper during his school, college, MBBS, Kasturi Medical College he did, and then he went on to do his MD from All Indian Institute of Medical Science, right? The number one medical college in the country. And his achievement, including Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam has awarded him the best physician award, and he has over 2 decades of years of experience. Is absolutely one of the greatest doctors you can ever meet. And today we are going to learn absolutely what is the secret to success if someone a medical college, how you can get there, right? For all the medical aspirants, NEET aspirants. Secondly, understanding the challenges in the Indian medical industry. Third is heart care, because heart is one of the most important thing and the future of health, and best tips and everything. He's known for his integrity, transparency, simplicity, right? Let us all welcome Dr. Ranjan Shetty to the Real Knowledge Club Summit.
Thank you, Akshay, for such a wonderful introduction. It makes me really wonder whether whether I deserve such a kind introduction. Thank you, Akshay. Happy to be here. Happy to answer questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for finally, after so many days, we are able to get you, right? And doctor, I would love to know about your backstory, right? What was your vision, motive, what led you into the medical field and choose cardiology?
So yes, Akshay. So I think back then we are all students, and you're studying and you're doing then you're trying to choose which is your career. I feel there were not many options then like you have now. So most of us had to choose between being an engineer or being a doctor. That's how it is. But having said that, choosing this field, I don't regret it even a bit. I just love what we do. I love the communication we have, and I like talking to people. I like understanding their part, and this really helps. Now, while doing MBBS, which I did in Kasturba, Mangalore Medical College, KMC, one of the good private medical college, we had good teachers, good mentors. Initially, when you start, I think everybody wants to become a cardiac surgeon. When a doctor starts, the only thing is heart surgeon, heart surgeon. But by I was in second year, I realized, I'm not a surgical guy. I'm more a medical guy, because these are two branches which diverge. You can either be a surgeon or a physician. That's how the whole field diverges. So I chose that I have to become medicine, and I was lucky enough to get into AIIMS. Even when I was going there, I was very clear I'm going to do medicine, no other branch in AIIMS. Because AIIMS is so reputed, people think any branch, because you're in AIMS, you should take. But I was more or less clear that a branch is more important than field. While in medicine, I just loved every subspecialty because it's so vast, so many things. Then I thought, since I wanted to become a cardiac surgeon, cardiology fascinated me at that point, and I became a cardiologist. I did it from PGH Chandigarh. I was lucky enough, not to have a break during my education. I got the next seat while I was doing the previous. Most of the time, I had to do it, I had to join the next seat 1 month later. So there was no gap month or even a day. And I enjoy every bit of what I do. And really happy to interact with you. I'll be happy to answer questions. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's incredible journey. I believe you are also a Kannadiga, right?
Yes, yes,
From
yes.
Bangalore. That's amazing. And doctor, what are the common traits which contributed you to becoming one of the top students in like school, college, then in AIM, right? What it takes to be like number one topper in the medical college? Because many people are like aspiring to become doctor, the NEET aspirants, everyone. What you want to tell to them?
Yes. If I have to tell one thing to people is medicine is, yes, it's a respected, it is a nice field, but so are so many other fields. So medicine is for people who you have to love this field. Otherwise, it's quite taxing, right? Because even now, if there is a heart attack, I need to come in the night, and my sleep is of no importance. The patient's life is of the most importance. So you
Right.
need to have this attitude to become cardiologist or become a doctor. Money, if it is for money, if it is for respect, I think this is not the field. You can get it in any field, lot of options now. It's truly even now for those people who are very keen in this subject, because otherwise sometimes the work and effort and burnout might make you frustrated. So just to answer the whole question, I think you need to love what you do. You need to be good at what you do. You need to keep thinking about what you do. When like as a medical student, anatomy, when you study, you have to be fascinated by it, and you need to think about it later. So medicine is a field for people who have people skill, who can communicate to people, who are interested in reading, because your reading never ends, for whom patients are important, and money comes much later. So it's a field where it's for a set few people. It's not for everybody. I would suggest medicine is a very, very good field to take.
Absolutely, absolutely. Love that. And how many hours like you were studying doctor during those days in your early 20s, right? To crack the aims, all those things.
I know that is something, uh, people may not believe much, but I was not a very, in the sense, traditionally hardworking student. I was more like, my reading. When I used to, whenever I had to read, it was more like the reading was divided into three parts. Imagine I read one chapter today. I would read it today. I would revise it tomorrow, and I would tell some other person, I would teach it to one more person. So that's what I believed was more like a compact foundation, which would remain. And once that happened, most of the time I would never go back to that chapter. Even if the exam was 3 years away, I would just go and write the answer. So my method, it may not be that traditional. It was a slower pace of reading, but whatever you read, it is done. That kind of reading. I was I was lucky that studying was relatively easy for me compared to many people. I'm thankful for that. If I can call a skill or a gift, I'm thankful to God for that. I'm a believer. There's no doubt in my mind about a higher power. And so my reading may not be the ideal way to replicate, but yes, people can have their own ways of reading. Today's era, the reading is not in any other way. It is so much different from the even the time I used to read. There are knowledge can come everywhere, but there's one thing in medicine, which is it. Not all medicine is taught in the book. It's actually taught by the patient. There's no doubt about that. You have to have a keen mind, you have to have a sharp mind, you need to be observant, you need to ready to unlearn things which you thought was a gospel truth is no longer the truth. You need to be ready to accept newer things which comes. You need to be very humble. There's no other way to do medicine.
Absolutely love that. I believe like all of your hard work and your focus and learn, apply, share, right? Because of that, you are able to get that. And doctor, like what are the major challenges like you have seen in the healthcare and the medical hospitals in India? Don't they teach like preventive healthcare in like in the colleges and everything?
They do. Contrary to popular belief, doctors don't want patients to be, unwell and treat them. We are very, very happy treating, making them, we are there to help them. I think this becomes a paradox for a non-doctor to think. Like
Right.
other field, it's more like, if you want to buy a car, you want somebody to have a need to buy a car. But I can tell you that almost all doctors I know, they're not happy when patients has pain and suffering and they come to us. We are happy to, uh, you know treat you and make you more comfortable. So, preventive healthcare, healthy lifestyle is something which we talk all the time, and we are happy not treating your disease. If you are healthy, we are happy to communicate with you. We are happy to talk to you. I feel the true, preventive healthcare is the way forward. But just a note on this, Akshay, preventive healthcare is not just preventive medical care. The healthcare is beyond medical care. It starts with the good water, the good food, nutrition, the healthy habits. It's way, way beyond medical care. It is equally a responsibility of every citizen, the government of the country, to every municipality, to everyone. It's not just doctor's responsibility.
Absolutely, absolutely. Love that. It's like the most important thing, right? Like the preventive healthcare being shown to like people, and every doctor wants people to live long and make sure that they live long. Love that. And doctor, the next question is like in India, they're like where doctors work very long, right? And even for like 60 days, like they just get like 2 days holidays. And I was speaking to some of the doctors. They were telling in Karnataka they are getting paid the least, and like the surrounding. And right now, even there was a case in Calcutta. There was a big problem which happened. Right? What do you think about the that issue? Being a senior doctor, what's your advice?
No, I think it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing that, when a doctor starts earning, it's already very late. And the initial, again, they are not senior enough. They need to spend 10 years. By 35, when they start, they're considered very junior again. So you need 10 more years to become something, 45. So financial benefit for a doctor is very delayed. It's little too late and little too less actually. And the work hours are sometimes very taxing. They're very long, and there are less holidays, and working all the time, and getting less pay is considered a service. So that's what people tend to do. But when I look around, I feel this is the sad part. Just to add, I think you touched the right point. See, the country longevity is increasing now. There's no doubt about that. Every year, we are pushing, and it's becoming better
Like,
for whatever reason. But average doctor lives 1 decade less than the population. Looks very paradoxical, right? You want people to know
yeah,
about things,
because
live
everyone
longer.
wonders that doctor is
Yes,
like God to us, and doctor has to
yes,
live
yes,
longer than common people.
yes,
But when
yes.
I was
But
seeing some interviews, 60 to 63 years is what average doctor lives in India. I was shocked to
yes,
hear that actually.
it's absolutely true, Akshay. It's 1 decade lesser. So when we talk to doctors, we also have these kind of sessions with doctors. We emphasize on that. You're burning yourself up. You also need a peace of mind. It's very important for you to. You got my point. I have to have a life, have a work-life balance, just like any other industry. And it's also important that taking regular breaks are needed to do better at your job. That
Mm.
lots of countries are 5 days a week. Some are even now 4 days or 3.5 days. They're discussing all this so that the productivity increases. We need to understand fatigue is a real thing, burning out is a real thing. You obviously have a lot of other ways to make become better and be healthy, but it is shown in some the statistics never lies, right? So it is
Right.
true that doctors are the quality of life, and you're succumbing to more illness. I'm sure I would like to talk to group of doctors about this and discuss with them, and probably try to tell them that we need to live our life too.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's one of the most important things because doctors they serve us like they're the most loyal profession, and even they need happiness, holidays, so that they also are able to relish with their family and live a great life. And doctor, what do you think about this? Like heart disease is one of the topmost cause of death in India. Almost 27% of all the deaths is like heart attack, cardiovascular thing. And even when I was watching a podcast of Shiva Shankaran, so he also was mentioning that epilow protein B, right? If we keep it until like 30 to 40, almost all the heart attacks can be reduced, and we can predict before 10 years itself.
Yes. So yes, heart attack is very much the number one killer. And countries like India, which struggle with so many other issues, even in these countries, heart attack is the number one killer. So world over, it is number one. How do we prevent it? It's a lifestyle disease. So you'll have to do more than one thing to make it right. So that includes exercise, diet. One factor which you are mentioning is LDL. People know it as LDL. It's also called as lipoprotein B. Lower the number, better it is. That's how it works, because it's the fuel which burns down everything. So you might fire it, but if you take out the fuel, the fire doesn't spread. So lower the better. But unfortunately, and you have to start early, because it's a very, very slow process. So 5 year later, 10-year later, 20-year later. But unfortunately, this number, whether you call it FOB or LDL, is genetically derived. So most of the time, whatever you do, whatever you eat nothing. Still, you could have a number which is bad, and there are patients who need to take tablets to reduce it. But as a race, we are anti tablet. People, it's very difficult to tell people that it's important to keep the LDL down, especially if you are diabetic or if you have other risk factors. But people may or may not take that advice. They want to do diet, they want to do exercise, but 90% of your LDL or ApoB lipoprotein is actually genetically driven. So unless you starve, even fasting doesn't help. The numbers remain high, and if a doctor decides to treat you, you need to take tablet. You need to take it for life. Again, taking for 2 months doesn't help, because it postpones the heart attack by 2 months. How does 2 month work at all when we are talking about these kind of things?
Absolutely, absolutely. And doctor, what do you think about like currently right now, like so many people are like addicted to like smoking, alcohol, and like eating like a lot of processed food and all these things, right? And do these also contribute to the heart attack?
Yeah, I would partially agree with you on this, because it's just a continuation of what we discussed. Smoking definitely bad. When we have youngsters with heart attack, almost always 90% of them are smokers. Alcohol does increase heart attack risk, no doubt. But whether you eat veg or non-veg, or whether you eat oil or fried, may not matter. You know,
Okay.
the dictum is, as I told you, because it's a genetically derived number. Diet itself doesn't have too much role. You eat anything, body can convert it into a cholesterol. So it's very important to reduce LDL cholesterol, not by diet, maybe by exercise, but more by medicine if it is recommended to you. So the why is this a concept? Because cholesterol, what is there in your blood, is definitely bad. That's what we started with, Akshay.
Yes.
But then that comes because of any food you eat. It's your body which converts any food you eat into cholesterol. So you don't need to have eat cholesterol to have blood cholesterol. So egg yellow is okay, non-veg is okay, fried is okay, but everything has to be within. It's not that okay means it. The quantity also matters, but rice, carbohydrate are a problem. So it's important to reduce them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And doctor, for the people who have this cholesterol, right, how can they bring down what they have to do? Because it is also a factor which you are telling.
Absolutely. This is the question I want to answer, that cholesterol is genetic. Cholesterol comes from your own liver, and all of you have seen it. There would be a person who's eating only curd rice, and his LDL may be 190. LDL, which is ApoB. Somebody who's eating everything and looks obese, but the LDL could be 108, because it is genes which decide the number. Now, so diet has absolutely no role, but low carb diet is what we advise. Do not ask which oil, what oil, it really doesn't matter. Exercise, which Indians actually lack, has to be done. It could be 30 to 40 minutes a day for 4 to 5 days a week. And then there are numbers about LDL cholesterol which are bad. Triglyceride doesn't matter. Total cholesterol doesn't matter. LDL or ApoB matters. If your LDL is above 190, it is abnormal for everybody. You could try diet exercise for 1 month, 2 months. If it doesn't come down, a doctor will prescribe a pill. You have to take it for life. On tablets, it really comes down. But then you can't stop the tablet because it's the tablet which brought it down. Short term tablets have no role. Diabetics, again, it is more important to control BP and cholesterol than controlling sugar itself. All diabetics should look for co-thieves. One thief is diabetes. What about other thieves which are ganging up? If you can decrease that other thief, it works well. Exercise definitely has role and people should use it.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's right. And doctor, what lifestyle changes one has to make to impact on heart health, right? You must have seen like so many patients almost every single day who you are doing so many operations and everything. What is the common pattern like you have seen with the people?
No, I think it's a lifestyle disease and people should. I think if I have to give one or two suggestions specific to us Indians, that would be, we are very carb liking, we like carb liking race or who like. So it's very important to decrease carbohydrate in your food. See, when we used to be a manual laborer kind of job, when people used to go to farm and work, it's okay to eat so much rice with little rasam and little pickle because you need that fuel for the work.
Correct.
Today we don't do that. We sit here, we talk. So you don't need so much carbohydrate. So reduce carb, make it one third. Have
Hmm.
more vegetables for fiber. Have 10 to 15% fat. Protein is seriously deficient in Indian meal. Whether you're vegetarian or non, because you're non-veg means you're just taking one piece of something. So it's deficient. Just make sure you increase either vegetarian or non-vegetarian protein. That's important. The second, again, as a race, we are always busy and we are always hurrying and we have no time for anything. And what actually gets compromised is exercise. So it's important that people actually do exercise. Now, again, it's not jumping into gym or doing everything. It is about doing something versus doing nothing. Do something, do some exercise, make it a habit, put it in your this one. I think that works well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Love that. And doctor, what are the most important things one has to do, right? If they have to live for like 100 years, like longevity, the main theme of today's summit.
I know. I know, Akshay, you have been very fascinated with longevity, and I've seen some of your previous episodes where you do discuss. Yes, I feel if I have to answer, I mean, it might look little contradictory to your basic concept. I think it's not
Mm.
about living 100 years. It's about quality of life. It's important people have quality of life. Now, how do we, it's not longevity. It's not about 100 on a ventilator, 100, which is this. Now, what are the things which increase quality and quantity of life? I would concentrate. One, obviously, low carb diet helps. Good
Mm.
protein intake helps. Exercise regularly. Again, extreme exercise are dangerous. If you're running
Mm.
marathons, if you're doing kickboxing, those kind of extreme things, or they are again dangerous. They don't live longer. But moderate exercise, like doing
Mm.
something, having a schedule of walking is good. And doing something like twice a week, a muscle building exercise, which could be going to gym and doing circuit training or doing something like yoga. Managing life stress free as much as possible. Having sleep hygiene. These things help. It's visible on face. People who exercise regularly actually look younger because there is something called as physiological age, not just your chronological age, not from your birth date. But people can look younger if they exercise regularly, if they're careful with what they eat, where they're decreasing the total calorie intake and decreasing the, these things help a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely. Love that, doctor. And doctor, how does one perform like CPR, right? If someone gets an heart attack at like home, airport, or like bus station, and there is no doctor nearby or like cardiologist, right? How can we save our friends and family?
See, I think CPR is a necessary skill. If you look at countries like Denmark, 85% population are CPR trained. At
Okay.
Manipal Hospital, since 2018, every year for World Heart Day, we do an activity on CPR. So we have been doing for 5, 6 years. Last year, our aim was to increase the CPR awareness in Bangalore from 2% to 3%, 1% more. So here we offer CPR training. We have made it simple. There are apps now, there are QR codes which we do at Manipal Hospital. So I feel if somebody is interested in CPR, they should contact. We'll be happy to train. There are my own videos which are there in online which are discussing about CPR. I think the message what we should give here, Akshay, is that it's an essential skill. Like if you want to save yourself or loved one, it can't be somebody else because CPR has to be started within 2 minutes. So if you want to treat people, learn CPR. It's a simple skill. It can make a difference. I had to do CPR twice in flight, when we are flying. Because arrest and attacks can occur anytime. Rather than asking us, what is the first aid we should do? If I have a chest pain, should I take this medicine, that medicine? Should I carry anything in my pocket? Take a oath and learn CPR. Do CPR. That's what you should be doing.
Absolutely. One can learn by even like going on YouTube or like seeing, right, exactly how to do like
Yes,
CPR.
yes. We have
Got
our
it.
own
No.
this one. You can contact Manipal Hospital. You'll get all the information. We'll be happy to train you because this is our dream. Actually, our dream is that whole of city of Bangalore at least knows CPR. Because without CPR, when a person arrests, not attack, arrest, they have collapsed, only 7% survive. Whereas with CPR, 33% more survive. That means around half of them survive if you do a right CPR.
Got it. CPR means like we have to press on the chest and that.
Yes, yes. If I have to tell you simply, most important is compression. So you're
Okay.
supposed to put your hand over each other,
Yes.
bend
Mm.
on the person on the lower chest, and compress
Okay.
it 100 times a minute. It's a
Okay.
difficult process, so always call for help. Mouth to mouth breathing is not essential. It's more
Mm.
important to compress, and that's the this. And it's very simple, it can be learned.
Got it. Absolutely. Love that. And doctor, like how is right now the Indian healthcare, right? Because some people think going to USA or like Dubai or UK has like more advanced things and we can meet doctors. You being in so many places, what's your thoughts on Indian healthcare?
So I think Indian healthcare is very good and the world is aware of it. It's not just the world itself is aware that the healthcare here is extremely good and there is quality healthcare. So if you have to tell you, if you compare the countries according to GDP, that's how everybody
Yeah,
compares. Higher GDP countries do spend a lot on healthcare because they could afford to, and they have a premium healthcare. We may be exception here because our GDP is not high. Yes, economy is growing. That's amazing. But per capita GDP is not that high as of now. But for an equivalent GDP, we are far, far superior in healthcare. So our healthcare here is comparable to what US or UK can give, and I'm very, very sure about it. But then there is a urban rural divide, which is in India, that the urban get all the healthcare as if they're in US, but there are rural where even drugs like aspirin may not be available. So I think using technology now, using training and using all the, drone and other things, we should make sure that this urban rural divide is decreasing. I see it already. Last decade, I've seen cath labs now in almost all districts of Karnataka, and each district has more than 10 cardiologists now. There are districts with 20, 30, districts with 8, 9 cath labs, which is amazing if you ask me. I feel this is the way to go ahead. We are very good, we are skilled, but just this urban rural divide is what we need to work on.
absolutely. Love that. And doctor, tell us about the current infrastructure at the Manipal Hospital, right? How much time it takes if someone has like a heart attack or like any problem? How much time does it take a doctor to solve it versus like in
Yes,
America or like UK?
Manipal Hospital is obviously a state of art hospital. I've been working here, and it does provide state of art care. Like today, I was talking to a patient who is a young girl who is on ECMO, which is very advanced cardiac care, heart lung support. We are even talking about transplant for this patient. And when I talk to the relatives, all that I tell is, even if you're in US, this is the treatment you would get, and we are going to give you the best. Now that's amazing. So once you reach our hospital door, we're able to do everything what US does with same quality, same commitment, and same good. But question is, how many can reach our door, and how difficult is it to reach because of the traffic of Bangalore itself? So when you talk about healthcare, which we started the topic, it is more than medical care. Healthcare is the topic to be discussed. I'm sure people like you who interview, people across the spectrum can do a difference here. Healthcare is not medical care. Medical care, India is the best. There's no doubt. Whether it's doctor, whether it's most of the instrument, India is the best. But healthcare is also, it's not about reaching Manipal Hospital, right? How do you reach it? So there are a lot more, there are places where infant mortality rate, which is the indicator of the general health, is reduced only because good roads were built from that village to the nearest hospital. The urban rural divide, what I was talking, is not just about building the rural things well, it's also having good connectivity. But here I can tell you, the country is changing, roads are becoming better, the whole world is changing. We have, I mean, you and me both are actually very fortunate to be in this time of where everything is rapidly changing. You and me can't predict how the healthcare will be next 5 years, because most of those prediction which we predict for 5 years is going to be true for just 2 years. So things are changing very rapidly.
Absolutely. Love that. I love the conversation which you had with even my mentor Shraddha Sharma. And you were telling for a teeth ache, your cousin in London or something, they had to wait for 1 month. Whereas in
Yeah.
India, like within like day or so, we can actually easily meet a doctor and get the teeth removed. Know that. And doctor, if you were to become the health minister of India tomorrow, what would the changes like you want to bring to the country for the prosperous and healthy nation?
Yes, yes, yeah. Thank you, Akshay. That is a. I mean, although I've not really thought about in that angle, but I feel this would be the most challenging question. If I have to be this one, yes, I would concentrate much more on preventive healthcare, and I would concentrate on healthcare, not just medical care. One, yes, the present government is actually trying a lot on health, and the way the pandemic was managed was amazing. Again, that is where we showed that, although people think we are a poor nation, how well we could manage a pandemic. By definition, pandemics are difficult to manage, there is no doubt. But I feel as a country, we did much better than many countries. Now, having said that, how do we make things better? I feel the only way is where we combine education and healthcare together. Right now, if you see, majority of the so-called good work or high class work is actually happening in private. 80% of these happen in private, 20% happen in premier institute. So one way is to have a collaboration. Now, it's not possible to do everything by somebody or one system. It's not possible to infuse. So I think it's important that we have a bigger collaboration between both private and government doctors and hospitals. This is what we need as a race. We are very committed to healthcare. We do not want patients, as I told you. So it's important we work on that. We also make health a responsibility of a patient. It's important people realize that they are responsible for health. When people eat pani puri and have diarrhea and then come and ask us that this tablet, does it have side effect, we feel bad, because most of the disease are brought by yourself. So we need to involve them. We need to have healthy activities. We need to have, maybe more parks where people could wear, control pollution, and then make sure that every person in the country is somehow insured, because cost is still a concern. We did discuss about extremely good healthcare available, but it comes at a price. Whereas in West, the price is paid by the insurance company, and who are not insured is paid by the government. But here, we still have 80% people who are not probably fully insured. Yes, now there are government schemes, and it's much better than, say, decades before. But still, I think we need to do a lot more work. Make sure somehow every individual is medically insured and no person is denied a treatment because of lack of health. So there are states which have done extremely well. There are states which are doing extremely well. I think if something has to be free in this country, it has to be health, apart from
Absolutely.
air and water. Nothing else should be free. People should work for it.
Right. As even Naveen Jain was telling, health is the ultimate wealth. No matter how much money we earn, if we don't have a good health, all the money, whatever we spend, however, we are not going to take it with us. If we are healthy, we can live long and do a great, purposeful thing for that. And doctor, does a life partner play an important role in career and health and heart and everything?
I think so. I think so. There's nothing. If there is no peace at home, there's no way you can do anything great in your life. I think your partner really plays a very important role. You need a home to come back when you're tired. You need a partner to discuss. That's one more thing. You always need people with whom you can discuss your ideas, find things. There are people who need to be, support you. I feel it really matters to have a good partner here.
Absolutely. And I'm remembering that the conversation Dr. Hegde, the cardiologist, he was telling every day, like the more laughter, like the more we laugh, almost laughter kills all the diseases, right? Like we tend to be more happier of that. And doctor, like what are the favorite books like which you will recommend for all the health enthusiasts about like like cardiologist or like health, heart attack, right? To avoid and everything.
Books may or may not be needed because the concepts are very simple here. It's
Sure.
about not eating too much, it's about exercising, it's about relaxing, it's more about managing stress. So I wouldn't recommend of any particular books, because also, books have too much of author in them. There is a bias which invariably creeps in. And if you read one, there is a bias which comes.
Correct,
All of
correct.
us have our own perception. It's important to get a more general idea when you have.
Absolutely. And doctor, in future, if I do have any event bring all the health longevity experts, would you be interested to come and share your views and this thing in the event?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I believe in physiological aging. I believe in reverse aging to some extent, but I do not believe in unnecessary longevity. Yeah, because whatever said and done, death is a certainty. Sometimes
Correct.
important to accept death and live your life. It's important. It's cheating death is just not possible.
Correct, correct. Yeah, in spirituality, it's always told, right? What is written is going to happen, but
Yes,
we
yes,
have to make sure that like we do the right thing and the like we have to obey the land and the rules of the God, right? Whatever I've
yes,
done.
yes.
And that was amazing. And doctor, for all the people who are watching this, if they have any questions, want to reach out to you, right? And where are you available if they want to book consulting, right? Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Yes, I do have a Facebook. I'm not in Insta. I'm not very active in LinkedIn.
Okay.
So I think this tells me that I have to be more approachable to people. So I'll work on this, and maybe one of the future talks, I'll tell you exactly where to contact. Right now, if you have to contact me, it is more in, you need to contact in Manipal Hospital. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Love that. Thank you so much, Doctor, for your incredible wisdom for the last 40 minutes. It was truly and mind-blowing, like a masterclass about like preventive healthcare, heart attack, the secrets to live long and everything. Right. Before we conclude, for everyone who is watching this Real Knowledge Club, what you want to tell?
Yes. So thank you, Akshay, for first having me here. And we have been interacting for a long time, and I always cherish our interaction.
Thank you.
If I need to tell people about anything, it's about enjoy what you do. Remember, there's a finite time. Even if Akshay pushes it to say 100 years, still it is a finite time. So you need to live your life. You need to be happy and be good at what you do. Again, be very sincere in your work. Give your 100% when you're, doing something. Take pleasure out of what you do. And if you're in a wrong branch, it's not too late to change your options, but enjoy what you do. I think that's the key. When you do that, that's what you are trying to say. The laughter being the best. When you enjoy what you do, things become much easier.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Ranjan Shetty, for your incredible wisdom. And everyone who is watching this, if you have any problem, or like if you have any cousins in Bangalore, and if you think they need any heart checkup, do come to like Manipal Hospital and make sure that like you meet Dr. Ranjan Shetty and take his advice. Always learning from the best experts is like the key. And do let us know what's your three biggest takeaway. Post it in the comments, tag your friend, post it on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. And thank you everyone for watching. And thank you, Doctor. See you soon again. Bye
Yes.
bye.
Thank you.
Have a great
Namaste.
day. Bye. See you.
All know India is the diabetics capital of the world. Our nation is facing a severe problem because we don't have that preventive healthcare education. And if you see, most of the people in India die apart from the old age is like cardiovascular disease, cancer, and high blood pressure, which can be easily prevented. And I discovered one of the greatest clinics, which is at like Chennai, which is AVO Clinic, which has like profound infrastructure and excellent cutting edge facility, and they are using artificial intelligence to understand what's happening in our body, the things what we cannot see or like ask like a normal person, right? And with precision, which leads to one of the most important things. Like it's always told, prevention is like better than cure. And if you are living an ultra busy lifestyle, want to take control of your health, I highly recommend you go to like Chennai at MRC Nagar, do your AVO 181 test and like understand what's happening in your body, like DEXA scan. I basically did that. I was able to understand where is the fats in my body, what I need to eat. I had the call with the doctor and they told me what food I need to eat, what supplements I need to do, and everything. And this will help you live longer. And I have put the link in the description. You can check out from that link. And also, if you're very serious about like longevity and want to live for 100 years and want to talk to like billionaires like Shiva Shankaran sir, like Aircel founder, I invite you for the 7 days longevity retreat, which is happening at like the Neela Palace, the 5-star hotel. People around the world from like USA, UK, Europe, and India are also coming. Do check out that event so that you are able to learn even more knowledge about like longevity and everything. And I'll see you at that event at January 2025. Thank you so much.